Board of Education meeting to order. I'd like to get Mr. Waters to lead us in prayer, and please remain standing for Mr. Dillon to lead us in our pledge, please.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight and we thank you so much for our freedoms and the country we live in, God. And as much chaos as we think's going on, Lord, you have everything in control. And we just ask that you'll help us to just keep looking toward you and knowing that everything is going to be okay. God, we just thank you for this group. We thank you for everybody that's here. We ask for a special blessing for everyone. God, we just ask you to give us your knowledge and your wisdom to make the right decisions and every question. Help us to have the right answer. And God, we just thank you so much. We worship and praise you in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Okay, first I'd like to let everyone know, please continue to pray for Jennifer. She's under the weather and she is sorely missed, of course. Congrats to Mr. Riddle on his re-election and Mr. Barnes on becoming a new board member before long, so congratulations both of you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Yep. And also one other thing.
Yes.
Say thank you to Miss Janine Curry for
Yes.
her retirement.
Yes.
And what she's meant to Central Office. We're really gonna miss her. But
Yeah, sure is.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, first on the agenda, we got some special guests. Jessica Monami, I hope I said that right, and Cindy Anderson from First Bank and Trust. Do y'all want to come up and?
Hi, how are you all today?
Good.
Good. We are here in regards to First Bank and Trust Pack the Bus campaign. It actually started about 6 years ago in our Fairlawn, Virginia branch. Last year in 2023, our 5 Virginia branches collected almost 8,000 school supplies for kids in their respective school systems. This year we had 24 participating branches. Our entire footprint participated this year, and we raised between our Johnson City branch and our Gray branch almost 4,000 school supplies.
Wow.
Between us, our customers, where the whole community was involved. We had customers just bringing things constantly. So we hope to get those delivered to you all next week. And I've been in contact with Mr. Boyd and Mr. Adams regarding how to do that. So we will get those to you.
And we also would like to present a check for $2,500 to the school system.
Thank you.
There we go. We'll just stand like this. Yep, thank you. Thank you very much.
thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Service to our students and to the families and community. Thank you very much.
We all enjoyed it, and our customers really in the businesses, they really got involved with it. Those Amazon boxes just kept coming. It was really good. I'm sure they'll be excited when we're doing that again.
That is awesome.
Glad to get those to the school.
Well, we do hope to keep doing it every year. So
Wonderful.
hopefully we can keep it up next year.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you. See you soon.
Oh, them women, my life.
Consideration of.
Okay, if I can get a motion for consideration of meeting agenda, please.
Make a motion. We approve it.
We have a close second with discussion. Let's
So
vote.
I'm
Mr. Boyd.
documenting all this, so, Mr. Fleener made the motion.
We'll give you a little leeway.
Thank you. Multitask here.
Not much.
And then I'm gonna launch voting. Hold on, I'm learning this too. I gotta make sure I not only type it in, I gotta say who made the motion. So second by Mr. Riddle. Now it'll let me start the voting. Voting is
I
open.
have the recorder going.
Yeah, we have the video. It's being live casted and also recorded. All right, save action.
All approved.
All approved.
Thank you, sir. Next is our public comment, which we did not have no one tonight. Next, if I can get motion of approval of meeting minutes, please.
We have no minutes we will have minutes, the September meeting.
Okay, all right, thank you. Next is announcements, Mr. Boyd.
Yeah, just a few dates. The next county commission meeting is the 26th on Monday night. We'll have one item, it's through the HUE and the budget committee around the purchase of buses that the board had approved. And then the 27th is a workshop. Actually, I have the dates wrong, I just realized that. Monday is the 25th, Tuesday is the 26th, so I'll change that. June 26th is the board workshop, 5 p.m. August.
You mean August?
Yeah, I'm way off. That's,
Monday.
yeah, I'll do it. So Tuesday, last Tuesday of September, August. I'm sorry.
26th.
5 p.m.
Last Tuesday.
Yes, 5 p.m.
27th.
It is the 27th?
That's the last Tuesday of August.
Okay.
Okay, that is it. Correct that in the agenda later. And then, of course, Labor Day holidays on Monday is September 2nd, and all schools and offices are closed. And the next board meeting, which will include, election of officers, an organizational meeting and new board member, somewhat new, back to the board on September 5th. That's all the dates. Next section, superintendent's report, just updated enrollment updates, as I mentioned. You'll see that changes daily, so it could be a little different than what was today. I mentioned our enrollment today was 8,111 students. That's in our database. We still have some fluctuations daily, so by the end of next Friday, we believe things will be pretty stable and reliable on what the data looks like.
How does that compare to last year? Do you know?
Very, very similar. We were around 8,200 to start the year. We ended with just over 8,000 at the end of the year. And then field trip reports, these are the field trips that the board does not approve. It's just a list of approved field trips to date. For your awareness and public record, the personnel reports, again, is for the month of July. All the HR activity, personnel activity for the month of July. And then Ms. McKinney's grant report for at this point in time. And just a reminder of the links to look at the maintenance data, maintenance reports. That has all the links to the various sites. And then Mr. Hale's monthly financial reports. These were presented at the workshop, and we will have updated information, of course, at the next meeting that may and should include and answer questions around fund balance, the final fund balance numbers. We should be in a position to have those numbers to you, and that's all in the reports.
Are all of Asbury's with the Tennessee Virtual Learning Academy, is that what's in there? Do we have any kids there doing high school, alternative school?
That's all together.
And the,
It's in Asbury. Well, if they're in Asbury, but they're assigned from Crockett or Boone, they're under Crockett and Boone's enrollment.
Okay.
Ms. Roscoe.
In regards to the personnel report, do we have any glaring vacancies in any of our schools where substitutes are having to fill in for until we hire somebody?
Right now, the last update I got from principals is they're all close to filling all their positions. So, we're really probably in better shape than we were last year as far as openings being filled. So that's a good sign.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Boyd. Next, if I can get a motion for consideration of consent agenda, please.
So move.
We have a second.
Second.
Discussion.
Motion made by Mr. Hammond, second by Mr. Huddleston. Voting's open. And it should- hold on. Learning this. Take Jennifer for granted. Now it'll let me launch. Voting is open.
Very good.
Motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
So we move on into discussion.
Yes, and I think we have the Lewis Group, Todd and Ginger's with us. Can you pull them up there, Heath, please?
Hi,
Hey,
how's everybody?
good, hope you all are.
Doing well, thank you. So we have sent a PDF. I don't know if you have the, it's a 3-page presentation and it has the site plan for Crockett. I can't really see if you guys are showing that or not.
Yeah, Heath, I think he's pulling it up for us, Ginger.
Hi. There you are. Okay. So if you have it open, I don't know if you can see the site for David Crockett. There it is. So we have looked at, after we went through the tour and we were able to walk through the site, we also went to our OAC and there were some issues. So 50% of stormwater is finalized, and this week and next week, the rest of the utilities are gonna be finished. Water and sewer are done already at Crockett. And the sheetrock is done, and we are going to have the painters starting this week. And the toilet partitions are going to be also delivered. They may already be there. And just so you know, the press box and the fuel lights are hot right now. Meaning, if we were to have a game right now, the fuel lights and the press box, electrically, it works. So we also have water connected to the buildings. We don't have any fixtures yet, but the water line is connected, the utility is connected. The only issue that we had was when we got there, the existing asphalt on the right side towards the entrance, that was gonna be new. And then we're gonna leave the existing that is close to the new trench drain that we added. So what has happened is that Well Construction had a surveyor go in to verify some of the spot elevations where we're gonna put everything. And it seems that while working through everything, there was a bit of discrepancy between what was on site and the original survey. So we have worked it out so that we can have a handicap sidewalk. We don't have to touch any of the asphalt. So you'll see how we added a sidewalk in that green grass area, and that is gonna be our ADA accessible ramp sidewalk that goes from the entrance to the bottom of the promenade. And the promenade is ADA accessible all the way to the end. So that takes care of that issue. The other issue we had was drainage, and I know some of you were concerned about water going towards the building. So the curb or the little partial wall that we had at the top edge of the promenade, which is, you're gonna see a thick black line that goes all around where that fence is. So we have now created that so that the water just runs to the sides to the storm that is on each side and the catch basin. So it's not gonna be running into our main sidewalk. We have also added, you're gonna see these green rectangles along the building. We have also added that landscape area, which it may be gravel or stone, but I think we were mainly thinking of a seed and straw, and then going back with a ground cover. It can be grass or anything like that, but that's also gonna help with water runoff. So those are the changes that we have in there. And then just to give you an update on Boone, Boone site utilities have been completed. The forming work at the plaza and the ramp are to begin pretty soon, this week. Now, we're still working through some of the site issues when it comes to the asphalt that we're gonna put for the food trucks and the sidewalk and the drainage. And I know we had talked about the embankment on site, so we're looking, along with the civil engineering with verbal construction, through those things so that we can work that out. So that should be worked out pretty soon. Now, if you want to go to the next page, we can go and show the pictures that we have from the last site visit. So that is the current status as of last Thursday. And then the following page has culinary, and that was from Peter Giddens' last visit. If you go to the next page, and that has what is currently there. They changed the epoxy, which I had mentioned before. They're painting right now, and they're putting the ovens in place this week so that they can see how much room they have for the rest of the equipment. You can see in one of those pictures that the new roof curb is in place. And also the State Fire Marshal has approved the sprinkler drawings on that one. And for security, last time we were at the workshop, we had talked about getting a project schedule from Merit Construction, which we have asked for, and we also asked for a schedule of values, so we're waiting on that. We have been working through submittals for paint, course, installation. They have been asking and sending us submittals for that, so it's still moving along. So do you guys have any questions for us?
Ms. Buchanan.
So there looks like on the back of the stadium that there's lights there. Are those lights scheduled to come on and off? Do they turn on and off by themselves? Like they're on the poles?
Those are, they're not scheduled, they're wired to be controlled by electrical panel where somebody can go in, they're keyed, so somebody has to go in and turn them all on or turn them all off.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Ginger?
And we have the same situation at Crockett and at Boone.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Ginger, only question I had, we had talked about when we did our walkthrough, maybe having to bring some portable restrooms in at Crockett for the 13th. So I guess what I'm hearing, the restrooms will be ready now or will not by the 13th.
We're not sure, so
Okay.
I think that the intent is that we're trying to push through that, but if,
Boone's
That's
home
really for
games
the
not till
basketball.
September, their first home games. Not till September,
23rd.
the 23rd is Crockett's first home game against
Right.
South Green.
On Monday?
August the 23rd.
It's Friday.
August, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, August 23rd is what I was thinking, I'm sorry, not September.
The first home game in either stadium is August 23rd, and that's David Crockett.
Yes. I told you wrong, not September, it's August. So you don't know if the restrooms will be ready or not?
They will not.
Okay.
I mean,
No.
we spoke to this, to Ryan, the superintendent of the site. They'll have all the area prep, but the buildings will not be ready.
Okay.
And, Mr. Kite had already made contingency plans to have restrooms, portable restrooms and other facilities available with the anticipation that those areas would not be ready, but the
Okay.
bleachers are. They're functional, and they're ready to go.
Will the,
which brings me to another point, we're gonna break down the punch list so that we can go ahead and get everything approved for game time, so I know that we are going to, I'm not sure how we're gonna break it down instead of doing just an entire project, think what we're gonna do is probably Crockett's bleachers first. And then we'll probably move on to the buildings. It depends on how it goes. But we're gonna have to break it down just to make sure that everything's properly done on time. Instead of doing just one big punch list. We need to start breaking it down and doing it earlier.
Okay. Mr. Riddle?
Will the concrete and pavement work be done by the 23rd of August at Crockett?
I'm not sure, that's the plan. I know that we're already forming through that already. If you see some of the pictures, some of the, they had already some of the sidewalks in place and they had the curb already to be formed. And that was last week.
They're not poured, but they're all in place, like all of the, all the forms are there and everything in there.
He said that they were gonna be pouring next week.
Because it's all there.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Any more questions, Mr.?
Yeah, on another note, where are we in the vestibules for Crockett and Boone? For the front entrance?
So, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, we have asked Mary Construction for a schedule of values and a project schedule, but they are sending us, they're actively sending us an amount of submittals for installation, for paint work, for doors, schedules, hardware, all that. So we're processing all of those. But regardless of that going on the side, as soon as we get the project schedule, I want to share that with you guys, and I'll make sure to share that the schedule of values too.
So we don't have a beginning date for that to begin?
For construction, no. For construction break, no. I'm not sure yet. But they have already started production of manufacturing things that will go into the construction.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions for him? All right. Thank you, Ms. Ginger.
Thank you all, be safe.
Hope all gets well down there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
You too.
Good night.
Yeah, the Lewis Group had COVID run through their facilities, so.
Oh, lovely.
So. Okay, next we got some purchase orders, Mr. Boyd.
Well, yes, this is the pay app. The board has approved, of course, the amount for the project. This is a significant pay application request for work completed. It's been verified by the architect and looked over by our folks. And you can see the amount of the pay app. We just want your formal approval of that.
Mr. Flainer?
Make a motion that we approve the 2.683751.19 per well construction for the pay application. Referring back to PO I don't see a PO on here, 2499, excuse me.
Yeah. We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Brad, you good with that, I hope?
Yeah, you're approving the purchase order for the 4.8. Now, if we add change orders, we'll obviously have to probably do another purchase order we'll either have to amend that or do another one.
This is just for the 2.6.
Yeah, this is for the 2.6.
This is to make the payment. They've already approved the $4.8 million.
Yeah,
This
the
is
2.6 is part of that. I put the purchase order for 4.8 because we had never generated that purchase
Right,
order.
we've been paying utilizing the county
Right.
capital funds.
This will be our first payment to Burwell for the stadium because the county has reached their 3.4 million. That's why I was referencing the purchase order, because if you approve the project, you just technically never approve the purchase order. But it's all just formality.
Okay.
But the 2.6 is now, and so we've had zero spent last year, our fund balance. You can see now we'll start to spend that.
Okay, any more discussion? We'll vote when Mr. Boyd's on top of it.
Voting's open.
Yeah,
He's
quick learner.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, next, if you want to go with Preston Woodworking.
Yes. These are all, at the workshop, some of these were discussed, but there was more information needed, or we anticipated additional discussion. So these are all items for your consideration. The first one is the work, this is Gray Elementary School, the countertops. Continued work. If you haven't had a chance, or when you get an opportunity to go by Gray Elementary, the walls that the board approved to construct are completed. It makes a huge difference in that first grade area.
I talked to the teachers and they were thrilled.
Good.
Excited.
Mr. Planner?
Make a motion, we approve PO 2676, excuse me.
We have a motion second. Discussion? You ready to vote?
Voting
There it
open.
is.
Save. Motion carries.
Thank you.
9 yeses.
Next is a purchase order for, looks like some school nutrition equipment.
Yes, this is, as you can see, it's a pass-through, I think, piece of equipment in the line, and it's specific. This is for Lamar Elementary, I believe, yes. Or in an amount of $13,914.23 out of school nutrition line item.
Mr. Planner?
Make a motion, we approve purchase rec 14302500016.
Second.
Discussion?
Type as fast as we think. Motion made by Mr. Fleener.
Second by
Second by
Mr.
Mr. Hammond. And voting's open. Motion carries, 9 yeses.
Thank you. Next, looks like we have another purchase order for school nutrition.
This is their annual food materials. It's a large amount, but it's for the entire year through the cooperative, the NEDCO cooperative. And the amount of $204,521.35.
Mr. Planner?
Make a motion, we approve purchase rec 14302500021.
We have a second.
Second.
Discussion?
Second by Mr. Hammonds. Voting's open. Motion carries, 9 yeses.
Thank you. Next, looks like we have another one for NEDCO Cooperative.
This is their annual membership fees that all members pay, and this is our amount paid out of school nutrition fund.
Mr. Planner?
Make a motion, we approve requisition 143025520.
We have a second.
Second.
Discussion?
Second by Mr. Hammond, voting is open. Okay, is it working? Let's see, let me check. Make sure it captured your vote. Looks like you captured your vote, Mr. Irwin. 9 yeses.
Thank you. Next is another purchase order for, looks like exams, placement exams.
Yes, advanced placement exams and fees for College Board, and the amount of $23,769. And this is one of 3 for our high schools. This is for university school.
Mr. Planner?
Make a motion, we approve purchase order 2682.
Have a second.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, is that, does that fee cover any kid or is it per kid or?
It's for the test that they have
I know,
ordered.
but okay, so there's a certain amount they order.
Yes, ma'am.
Any more discussion?
Voting's open. Nine yeses.
Thank you. Next, looks like another placement exam for Daniel Boone High School.
Yes, it's the same thing, but it's specific. David Crockett submitted theirs early, and so they were on the consent agenda because we discussed that at the workshop. This is for Daniel Boone High School, and the amount of, as you can see, $22,449.
Mr. Flainer?
Make a motion, we approve purchase order 3397.
Second.
Second. Discussion? Let's vote.
Second, Ms. Cannon, voting's open. Approved, 9 yeses.
Thank you. All right, next, Ms. Boyd, our CEP.
Yes. You know, as we discussed, and I moved forward based on our conversation at the workshop. You know, we originally had 8 of our sites approved for the community eligibility program, which is free breakfast and lunch based on their data. You know, and then we went back, and Ms. Hugh re-looked at the 4 of the 5, which included Daniel Boone, David Crockett, Ridgeview, and Sulphur Springs, and we went ahead and moved forward to add those 4 schools to the CEP program. This is just a request for the record for the board to vote on approving those all schools, except for University School, which had, you know, the requirements were well below the requirements. But we added all schools but University School, and my request is you formally approve that in the record.
I make a motion, we approve the community eligibility program for this year with all schools.
County.
Except, well, do I need to state that except UH?
Second.
Discussion?
I think the community's really happy with this.
I think so too.
Yeah, from what I've read, the comments and things on social media.
Did we get a roundabout price for that?
$261,000.
That's the minimum, I want to remind the board.
Right.
And just so help me, motion made by
Ms.
Mrs.
Dellinger,
Dellinger.
seconded by Mr. Flainer.
Mr. Foreman, okay. Thank you. Voting's open. Motion carries.
Thank
9
you.
yeses.
Okay, next is discuss bids for the septic system at South Central. Is that you, Jared?
Just an update from Dr. Adams on where we're at. We were reviewing all
We were
possible.
reviewing our options there, and I had Mr. Moore, our maintenance supervisor, contact Miller Septic and had an in-depth conversation, and we feel comfortable that they're able to do the job. We had questions because they left some verbiage out of their bid, but they're fully ready to move forward with that. Our major concern was what kind of pump they were going to put in, and because they didn't mention that at all, but in conversation he was aware. He just was unfamiliar with how to actually do the bid process. But our recommendation is to move forward and award that bid to Miller.
Mr. Flainer?
Make a motion, we approve the $44,760 to Mueller Master Bids LLC for the South Central project septic tank.
Second.
Discussion?
That does have the pump and stuff?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it's big enough to take care of it?
Yes, sir.
Time on that?
We'll know once we award the bid. We'll sit down and get a schedule with him.
Will there be disruptions?
I don't believe so. No, I mean,
Shouldn't.
we'll certainly plan around that.
And that's complete turnkey.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And we're still pumping as necessary, I guess, right?
Yes, sir.
Still started. Okay.
So just to verify, a motion made by Mr. Fleener, second by Ms. Dellinger.
Ms. Buchanan.
Oh, Ms. Buchanan, sorry. Wrong year. I corrected that. Voting's open.
We won't make this permanent, sure.
Somebody else can sit here and I'll just run it.
I do not think Jennifer will want to do that.
save action if you'll let me. Motion carries.
Thank you. Dr. Adams, guest on the nutrition vans.
Yeah, you approved those and we went to purchase them and they sold them. So this is another purchase order. We have Ford of Murfreesboro, they have one van on property, and we're looking for permission to buy that one van. It's about $4,000 cheaper. They don't have two, but they have one, so we're asking to go ahead and be able to buy the one now, and as we circle back around and find another one, we'll bring it back to you.
Is it a 23 or 24?
You might have to look it up. I think it's a 23.
I mean, it's on the lot, 0 mile.
Full warranty?
That's the Mercedes. Yes, it's brand new.
And that's the Ford we're getting instead of
Yes.
Mercedes, correct?
Right.
Mr. Riddle?
I'll make a motion to move forward, the purchase of a Ford van from Murfreesboro Ford.
Do we have a second?
So we don't
Discussion?
have any information like on that. Like all I have is the Mercedes Benz.
It was in the email shared with Mr. Boyd earlier in the week, I guess,
Yeah.
but I don't remember the numbers of it. It was $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah, I knew it was cheaper and it was a Ford instead of Mercedes.
Yeah, it's 53,000 plus, and the Mercedes was 57,000 a piece.
Warranty.
Same type. I think it's
Everything.
it's just a Ford instead of a Mercedes.
Okay.
And it's a little cheaper than what we had found.
But it's also a year old.
But it's like, I don't think it has 100 miles on it where it's been driven around.
Any more discussion?
Motion made by Mr. Riddle, second by
Mr.
voting is open.
So we're just gonna continue using the van that's got the least amount of mileage on it until we can get another one?
Yes, sir. And just so you know, it's a 2024 Ford Transit. I'm looking it up right now, sorry.
It's all right.
Motion carries 9 yeses.
Thank you. Okay, next is the Moose Creek Complex on the maintenance.
No action requested, this is just, we discussed at the workshop. I did include this information, or not all of this information, in this form anyway, in my update to the commission. I included a section around Boones Creek Athletic Complex, and to date, at least through July 20th, the expenses that we have had in maintaining since February the facility, just for their full awareness.
Mr. Swain?
We are gonna add that building for some kind of cover.
I included those estimates in the documents that I shared with the commission, just for their awareness.
But we didn't have one for a cover, for the tickets when they take them up or whatever. Somewhere, but I mean,
I think Mr. Clark, Logan has that listed. It's just an ongoing conversation. The board did approve the draft interlocal agreements between the two government bodies, the town of Jonesboro and the county, and eventually they'll get finalized. But until then, our crew is continuing to do the work at the site, both the maintenance of grounds as well as the maintenance and scheduling and management of the athletic facilities.
So where is this $8,500 supposed to come from?
Well, the county's the owner of the property, so if they want that work done, then that's where the money will have to come from.
They will have to pay that.
Yes.
Okay.
And Dr. Adams, are we having tournaments there right now or not?
Yes, we're booked all the way up through, I think, the first weekend in November.
Okay. Along with Ridgeview too, or no?
Yeah, Ridgeview and a little bit of Grandview, but mostly those two.
Okay.
And I haven't had time to get it on to Mr. Boyd, but we also have a quote just under $10,000 for a new gator to be stationed at Boones Creek as well. So that would be another thing we would add to that cost.
Did Logan add the ticket booth to that?
He's working on that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, looks like next is our sound system for the stadiums at James Boone and David Crockett.
Yes, we have the specifications. This is a formal request to release the bids with also request that the board, because of timing, the board allows the executive committee, which is the chair and myself, to review the bids, select the best and lowest, and approve moving forward as soon as the bids are reviewed.
Mr. Waters?
I make a motion that we let the executive committee move forward on the bids for the sound system for the stadiums at Daniel Boone High School and David Crockett High School, and allow the executive committee to make those decisions on price and quality.
We have a motion, we have a second discussion.
Can you just share that information with us?
Yes, I will. I will send it out to the board.
Don't you think we might ought to set a price not to exceed over, I mean, are we looking, have we got somebody to look at it?
Yes, we've gotten quotes. You
Okay.
know, my hesitation is when you do that, ironically, the bids come in right at that amount.
I understand that, I understand.
So I would like to, at least in the spirit of competitive bids, keep it that way.
Okay.
And if it's too high, I mean, you know, and Mr. Master and I are looking at it, I mean, we may be in a situation we have to reject them if it's way beyond what we've discussed prior.
And I mean, we've put this much money into those stadiums. I want
Oh, I
a
know.
great sound system for these people. You know, it's,
Mr. L, the funds for that?
Currently, Mr. Fulbright's technology category is $499 line. He had excess last year. We believe that line can handle it up to the amount of 100. Now, if it starts going much over that, we may have to look elsewhere in the budget or tighten our belts in that
So
one.
technology is coming out there.
Yeah.
Just curious. Any more discussion?
What timeline for bid deadline on something like that?
The bid opening is Friday, August 16th at 9 a.m. And we hope to have a purchase order written and signed sometime later that day to award to the company that gets the bid. I put in the bid document that we'd like to have something in place, at least functioning by August 23rd, which is the first home game. And if they can't make that, there's a place on the bid to give the exception of why they can't make it and give us an idea of what would be functioning at that time to give us time if we have to rent equipment.
Mr. Waters, make a motion.
Made the motion? Okay. Who made the
Second by
second?
Mr. Hubbardston.
should we back that up to make sure, because in the first game, the 23rd?
It is.
And for David Crockett High School.
Right.
We've already talked, some people have called in and sent emails questioning that. We've explained to them what we're trying to do, so
Okay.
we feel comfortable with how it's written.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more discussion?
Voting's open. Motion carries 9 yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is, I guess, an update on the MOU with the church and Daniel Boone.
Yes, I shared in the weekly update to the board. You know, I did attend the Public Works Committee meeting, you know, in discussing the possibility of the county assisting with the paving of that area. You know, it was stated by the attorney, the county attorney, that, you know, that would not be permitted because it's private property. So at that point, we're back to the board. And I will just convey that, you know, the commissioners there and part of that committee, they ask a lot of questions in trying to find ways that they could support and help, but it just, you know, within the limitations, they're just not in a position to do it in the format. I did send the draft MOU that we have had with the church to Mayor Grandy. He was going to send it to the County Technical Assistance Services, CTAS, to look at it and let them see if there are other, you know, options based on the agreement that the board is proposing to have with the church. But I haven't heard back on that yet.
Can we, if all else fails, can we go and talk to the church and ask them if they can help?
pay for it, some of it.
Well, I'm sure, I mean, it's their property.
Yeah.
We certainly can
Or pay.
have that conversation.
And I think the one bid that we got was also 44,000.
But we only got one bid that was from,
Well, we had, there was, to my understanding, there was 3 different quotes. One was over 200,000, one was around 150, and then the last one we got was 67.
67,000, I believe.
I said 4460.
Yeah, the last bid we got was 67,000 for that, a little over 20,000 square foot section of, that would need to be graded and some stone put down and then put the top coat on.
The parking lot lease. It says 250,000 and then it says $1, so which,
Well, I think it's the initial, what that's written is the initial payment of 250,000 and thereafter $1 a year.
And that 250 is based upon what they had found on the estimate for paving.
For what?
So estimate they had received for paving it.
that was going through.
Right. So whatever, if and when that happens, whatever the amount is that we decide, or whatever the amount is on the paving, it will go in that spot, not where the 250 is now. But then it's $1 there afterwards. Is that correct?
That's the way I understand
Okay,
it. Yes, sir.
So at this time, do you want to take action on this, or do we want to?
It's
defer
up to the board if you have action that you would like to.
So would we want to move forward with the low bid on that and change the MOU to meet the amount of the low bidder is full of paving? I'd like to make that in the form of motion to move forward with that.
Okay, we have,
Those are quotes. We've not actually put that out for bid. We have to put it out.
We would have to do
okay.
it.
So I guess in your motion, you could go ahead and
I'd like to
request
make
it for bids.
I'd like to make a motion that we move forward and bid out the paving of the Crossroads parking lot.
We have a
Second.
motion, second, discussion.
The funding sources are
I
fund
don't-
balance.
Really,
What is the funding source?
Well,
It would be fund balance.
Heather, you tell me to pull it from somewhere else in the budget.
Didn't we have some, well, line item that had some paving money in it or something?
That's through the county
Oh,
education
okay,
capital fund.
okay.
And the board can direct me to go through you and seek those funds.
I mean, I know we use the property and thankful we got it, but I still feel like that we need to ask the church to help pay for some of it. I'm sorry, but I can't.
Well, my only
support
thought
this.
is the churches want to come to us and ask us.
or just
Well,
would be
and-
nice to know where we're standing.
Is that a motion, Mr.?
Yes, and we got a
Okay,
second.
We got a second, okay.
Mr. Frank.
I just can't, I mean, I think they should help us pay for it. I don't care to help pay for it, but I cannot support
Has
all of it.
anybody talked to the church?
Yeah, they the one called and asked me. Then I talked to Mr. Bennett, and then this started, in fact, last year.
Mike, they should have come and talked to the board, not just to you. That's my argument.
Well,
They
my
should've-
thing is, they come to the chair, and I'm sorry, it's me at the time.
Well,
I mean-
I'm all right, but they should have come to the board.
Well,
I
why?
just-
Bringing it to the board, though, I mean.
Well,
I mean, I thought that was the job of the chair.
well, I feel like they should come to the board and ask the board for, but now that's me.
Mr.
Okay.
Cannon?
so my question is they come to you and ask to pay the whole amount to have it paid, correct?
Well, basically, they asked me if we could do something on the paving for the spot that we're using. And I said, I don't know. I said, so I got with Scott Bennett and asked him, and he said, well, we have to have an MOU before you do anything.
So they do not use any of that property?
Oh, yes, they use
They
it.
do, they do it on Sunday, I'm sure they'll fill it up.
This is the spot right there when you turn in. This is the gravel spot on the right.
So gravel?
Rest of it's paved.
So why are we not purchasing gravel to, have they decided they just want it paved? I mean, I'm a little
They
confused
have
about the
decided
whole.
that they would like
They would
that
like that
section to be paved.
Okay, so I'm kind of in agreement with Keith. I don't think we should be paying the whole entire thing. We use it, what, maybe 6 times out of the year?
It's used for a lot of volleyball,
Yeah.
soccer and stuff
Well,
like that.
soccer.
Anytime we have a sporting event.
Okay,
Pretty much.
so, like outside, okay.
Yes.
Well, we're not using it year round.
They
Just
do use
school
it
year.
year-round. I mean, it's year-round, but it's not school year.
So fall and spring.
But people park there too during the,
As I've seen this week,
Yes.
watching the traffic patterns.
and it's a lot better to get in and out if you want to pick your kid up there.
That's fine.
This is just for bid. I'd like to, for clarification, we're just asking for the bid. Let's go back and see, and then we can always go back to the church or whatnot after that, so we ain't even got it funding, so we'll pick that.
Ms. Dillinger.
I forgot, okay. Is there a possibility that they may want to go in?
Well, yeah, I
Is
mean-
there a chance that we could have a communication with
Yes.
them?
And
I would be up for that because, I mean, like you said, if it's already gravel, you know, maybe they will. Are they paving the rest of it?
as far as I know, I guess, I don't know. I didn't go in much depth with it.
Right,
so.
okay.
Mr. Irvin?
I make a motion that we table this and we let our director.
You wanna, before you start, you wanna do an amendment to the motion, because we already got a second.
No, your motion to table it
Kills it. I wanna make a motion that we table it and let the director get in contact with the people at the church and find out if they would be interested in helping us pay for it. Pay them.
Wouldn't you want to postpone it, because if you table.
Well, we have to bring it back up off the table, but I feel like we need to go back and talk to them and say, you know, this
You
is
can't
what.
discuss it. It's your motion to table. You made the motion. If you get a second, then we go straight to vote. You can't talk
Well,
about it.
that's why I wanna table it. You all.
Well, you can't talk about it.
We have a motion, we have a second on the motion.
I'll second it.
Now, discussion.
Oh, you can't discuss, go straight to vote.
Okay, okay.
Somebody explain it to me. Okay,
Table on the motion, which, no more discussion.
that's what we're voting on now.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I vote yes, it
And then
tables it. If I
it can be
vote no-
brought up, but it's gonna be brought up by the person that made the motion to table.
You wouldn't know this was my last board meeting, would you?
So I have, motion made by Mr. Irvin to table, second by Mr. Huddlestone. Voting is open. Looking for the tally. Try it one more time. There we go. So motion to table, we have 4 yeses, 5 nos. Motion failed.
Motion, so now we can go back to the regular, the first motion to put it out for bid, second by Mr. Flynn. Any more discussion on that? Mr. Walters?
I want to make an amendment that we postpone it. That we can still talk about it till they talk to the church, till Mr. Boyd talks to the church. I don't want to table it because we need to discuss this.
Okay.
But I do want to
That's
postpone
fine.
it until Mr. Boyd or the executive committee can talk to Crossroads Church and just give it a shot.
We have a motion.
If they'll help us, they'll help us. If they don't, then we can go forward on
I
that.
second.
Move to defer.
Discussion, Mr. Flynn.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, and I can't support it just for the simple reason of even the church would want to know how much the bid was. That was the only thing I'm thinking. I'd like to know what number.
I just want to know, I just
Yeah.
want to know if they would help. And we can discuss prices and all that stuff after the bid.
I mean, it matters what the price is, but I wanna make sure they're gonna help with it, whatever the price is.
I mean, I just want to know the price, and then we can go back to them and say, hey, we got a low bid of 20,000. Would you pay 10? We'll pay 10. We'll, or it's 100. You have to say, we'll pay 50. You pay 100, 50. I mean, if I was a church or if I was a school board member, either way, I want to know what
Well,
the
we've got
number is.
rough IDs.
I mean, you just got a quote from one
60
person.
Well, oh,
Mr. Buchanan?
that's what we're going on. That's
Here's-
what I'm
No,
looking
so
at.
we're gonna bid out.
Here's, somebody's gonna help me understand this. This is not our property. We're not supposed to put money into it. We're getting bids on property that's not ours to have paved, and we're doing an MOU. So, looking at this, we should be doing an MOU, and they should be doing the paving if we're gonna pay them. So I'm a little confused about this whole thing, because why are we getting bids on property that doesn't belong to us? I thought it was not, you were not allowed to put money into a property that's not ours.
Unless you have an MOU.
If I may,
Yes.
that community uses that property a tremendous amount for every, basically outdoor sporting event, graduations, all your events, we're parking there. So what you're doing with this is you're paying $67,000 for the right to continue using that. You don't have to buy the property, but the MOU is allowing us to continue use. If you don't do an MOU with them and you don't continue use, where are you gonna park?
I don't care to do the MOU. My question is why are we getting bids on a property that we don't own to do something to? Because my understanding is once you do the MOU, you pay them and they take care of the paving.
I think to answer your question, I hope this is what you're asking. The reason why we got bids, because the 3 bids they got was very high.
Right.
So we wanted to see what kind of bids we could get.
Right.
And do it through the county.
And do it through the county if possible.
And this is legal?
According to the Public Works, the county cannot
County
provide
cannot.
the services.
But yes, this is legal on our end because Mr. Ben is the one that drew it up.
Okay.
We would essentially be
Yes.
That
paying
would've-
for the
Yes.
service and the access, continued
Correct.
access. You know, hypothetically, if the church paid $250,000 to pave that area, the board could say, well, we're willing to pay this, and that would be in the negotiation.
Right.
Well, I still feel like that we shouldn't be paying all of it because we use it part-time, they use it part-time. It should be somewhere in the middle.
Mr. Holstone?
What does this have to do, anything, with the general terms in the $250,000 for the year and then $1 thereafter?
That was put in there based on my understanding, the original quote the church may have received for the work to pave that area. That's just a holding place. Then there were other quotes taken. We received our own just to find, a place, an amount that we felt like was fair for everyone. And the last quote we got was $67,000. If we were to proceed with any kind of procurement, we have to put it out to bid. Of course, the church and any private entity does not. Our agreement would just be with the church, and if we, went into an agreement and it included a fee to continue access that would help them cover the paving of it, the board would then decide, and the negotiation process would determine how much. That was just a holding number. It was an example.
I understand what everybody's saying, but if we wait for you to go to church, then put it out to bid, we're putting it out there another 30 days or so. So why not, let's go ahead and get a bid, as Chad said, keep it simple. See if they want to do that amount. If anything, it's going to save us time and save them time. They can turn it down one way or the other. Let's have as much information up front to
go back to them.
Yeah, so, and we can go from there.
Okay, any more discussion?
Can you reread the motion?
This is amendment.
Yeah, it's just to move to postpone any action.
Can you reread the original,
Just to put that for bid.
just to put it out for bid?
Yes, the original was,
Just put it out for bid, made by Mr. Riddle, then Mr. Waters made an amendment to postpone. So we got to vote on the postponement first before we can, or the amendment, I'm sorry, before we can vote on the original motion.
Gotcha.
Everybody clear as mud?
Chris.
I just want to add on the financial side, I'm hesitant to give any numbers on fund balance because we got a lot of adjustments to do this week. But what I have seen is we did get more in revenue, as we suspected in sales tax. And I have seen on the overall budget, we had some cost savings in comparison to the budget. So I don't want you to take this to other project, but if you all decide to do anything money-wise here, I'm not too concerned about it.
Okay. Okay. All right, we're gonna vote on the amendment, please.
You're gonna have to be patient with me.
Okay.
You didn't keep it simple. So I'm trying to get us back to where at least this documents it correctly. Worst case scenario, we'll review the minutes and we'll correct it.
Maybe we can give you a stipend for doing this?
No,
All the amendment needs to be is postponed until talk to the church.
based on my performance, I don't deserve it.
It is, but he's gotta put it in the BOE correctly, is what he's talking about, yes.
We'll get Jennifer to set up some training for you in case this ever happens again.
Sure.
She'll get a good kick out of that.
Yeah,
She's probably watching the meeting anyway.
I hope not.
I hope not.
She needs to.
You don't need to make her sicker.
She needs to rest.
She's
She's probably getting some laughter.
Yeah.
She can't laugh, sitting back there.
Okay, so we have moved to authorize bid of paving Crossroads Christian Church parking. And the amendment is moved to postpone action, so I'm going to initiate voting. That amendment was made, let me make sure I got that.
Made by Mr. Walters.
Mr. Walters.
Second by Mr. Huddleston.
Mr. Huddleston. All right, I think we're at least appear to be in some kind of good spot. Voting's open. Okay. Looks like understand what's happening here.
Just
It's asking me
Let's try
to
it
vote
again.
again.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's indicating now it's voting on the postpone action. Okay. Motion carried. There's 5 yeses to postpone action.
Okay. So it's postponed.
Yeah.
Okay, next, I'm sorry.
We got to vote it, or you'll have to vote on the motion as amended now?
No, because
Of the amendment.
It's an amendment, but it's really
Yeah, you're not
a
allowed.
motion to either table or postpone, so it just moves it on. So I think at this point, we've gone as far as we can go with this item tonight.
Right. Okay, next is our Jonesboro Middle School property. We have Mr. Glenn Rosenoff here. I think answering questions, or you're welcome to come up. And this is, he's the Jonesboro City Mayor. This is where the
You got promoted.
Yeah.
Town administrator.
Yeah,
Town administrator, I'm sorry.
city manager.
I had you right.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
And this is concerning the proposal that was made to purchase Jonesboro Middle School.
You could go over the proposal for us.
I know originally we had, as far as board members have been very interested in the property for the last month or so. As everywhere else in Washington County, almost every government facility is overwhelmed with growth, whether that's population, vehicles, programs, activities, services, and Jonesboro is in the same fashion. Town Hall is 40+ years old. Some of our other facilities are as old as well. We're looking at all kinds of infrastructure improvements, new water treatment plant, expansion of Town Hall or other services. And so the middle school presented an opportunity as already being a community facility serving government uses. And we thought that was an optimal plan to look at that, not only as a potential town hall or public safety or other kind of governmental services, but also right here in the community that people know that that's where you can go for type of services. The exciting part about it is that it's a potential of renovation versus new construction. We know that the cost can be much less on the renovation side. Other ideas are obviously to look at the structural integrity, or the roof, the HVAC, but also to have a community facilities plan is one of the ideas that I've shared with other board members. The other would be an architect to look at the potential conceptual designs, look at load-bearing walls and just see what can be moved, what can't, so to transform it into a use. There's been some talk back and forth, I guess, as whether or not there's temporary uses from the county level or school board level. I'm here just to say that we're open to discuss those options. Of course, everything would have to go to the Board of Mayor and Alderman for approval. But I'm glad to hear other proposals or things that people are concerned about or have ideas. But we've had a really great success with the Jonesboro K through 8 school. If you imagine the complexities of that project, just from the beginning to coming to the end with Tiger Park, that's been an incredible, for someone who's been in government for a long time, it's been an incredible story of cooperation and partnership. I mean, it really is. It's been a model for other people, I think, as well. Not only school board, but county commission. We look at our water lines and things that we're providing water to underserved areas, another partnership with the county level government that's been extremely successful. And so we just see that this is another opportunity to work together. It just seems very easy transition between one government working with another government as far as transferring property purchase. There's been mention of anywhere from 1.3 to 1.5 million, I know, has come up periodically, kind of ebbs and flows. So I'm just here to answer any questions or provide feedback, whatever comes from the board, back to my Board of Mayor and Alderman, ultimately with the authority to make the final decision on a purchase.
Mr. Player,
I'm sorry, it was mentioned a grant, is there something, you've applied for a grant to purchase, or is that?
No, we would,
Okay.
if we were purchasing it, we would go through rural development, USDA, similar to what we did on the school project, similar to what we've done on almost all of our community facilities program. They're a great, USDA is great to work with on community facilities. We've got it down pat as far as Jonesboro. We've done it over and over again and been very successful. So we're very confident in that. Get a lower rate, longer period of time, since it is a facility and land. So yeah, we would pursue grants if available, and there are different ones on different organizations. But as far as the purchase, I foresee it being basically loan-based through RD at first.
Mr. Player.
I'd like to make a motion that we counter back at $1.5 million. Reason is, we got $2 million out of the Boones Creek School last year. After tearing it down, realtor fees, appraisal fees, and all that, we got less than $1.5 million. So I'd like to counter back to 1.5. There's also a couple of things I'd like to have in that agreement. I'd like to have an agreement that the playground that's behind the school maintains a playground. It would be kept up as a playground and different things for those kids in that areas that go by there. I'd like to also make sure that the board, and again, the reason this needs to be in an agreement is probably not necessary because of the good relationship that the town of Jonesboro's had with us, but we'd also like, if we do move central office and other services to the elementary school, we may need a place to do some things, and we'd like to have that opportunity if need be, that the need arises where we can still use the middle school. And also too, I think it's imperative, with keeping the roads that you're all letting us, keeping them up and we still have access to for the bus garage and for whatever we do. That's a really big plus. And plus it's an exciting thing. I mean, they're going to keep the Jonesboro School as it is, and fix it up for a government place so it keeps it as is and is keeping it building. And I think it's a great opportunity for us again to work with you all. And we still have those 3 lots. We may generate another $1.5 million on that, but I'd like to just take the opportunity to get that money that they're offering, send something back with them, but also to where we can move forward with plans that we have for the elementary school as far as the tear down and whatever, we're going to do with that property as far as consolidating some of our other campuses into one campus there at Jonesboro Elementary. So I think this is another great opportunity to work with you all, and I appreciate you all bringing that forth to us, and look forward to being partners again if this passes.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Discussion on Mr. Bud Towers.
I've had a lot of people contact me, and I think there is a lot of interest. I think there really is. I personally feel it's still a little low. I think the amount is a little low. I'd like to see us try to see, this is the first person that's come to us, but it does have a lot of potential. I want to work. I hope we can come up with some type of an agreement that's a little bit better, to benefit us, anyway, thanks.
Mr. Evans?
How's this gonna work with the local agreement that we have with you all in the county? We're supposed to sell this property and put it into your all's tax basin. That's not getting your all's no more tax basin, right?
If it stayed governmental.
Yeah.
Correct.
So our agreement that was wrote before you come on board is a joke, right? Because we're trying to sell it. We want to sell it because the agreement was for you all to get the tax basin to come off of it.
I won't agree that it's a joke.
Well,
don't know
you know
before,
what I'm saying.
But it's an opportunity, when we look at different facilities, different land, different parking areas for downtown, we're constantly looking for how do we mitigate the growth in the area, as we all know. And so, for me and the rest of the board members, looking at the facility provided an opportunity to look at a renovation versus new construction, an area that already is identified as government use, still being used. Just had the elections go on in there. And as far as tax base, I would agree, we enjoy a strong tax base, but we would also believe that, it also provides an opportunity for, it to be another kind of destination for services to the general public.
So with that being said, I think it's not going to generate taxes, but it's going to save taxpayer money. So, it's swapping money basically, because if you had to build or they had to build a new building, there would be an increased burden on the taxpayers. So you're actually going to generate tax savings, I would think. So that kind of washes.
And there's
and I see what you're saying. I get it.
Yeah, that's another good point on the savings on the taxpayer end and the overall picture of it. I'm sure the condition of the building, whether or not it's the roof or HVAC or other things that are going on in an older building, of course, we would correct and dry in. We'd also be a very good partner for transition plans, as you just mentioned. Maybe there's other ideas that we would be perhaps very accommodating to help with temporary relocation, and as we look at the different phases of that kind of project for that large of a building.
Mr. Evans?
I was just gonna see if this had been run by Scott Bailey, the board attorney, just for any input.
I haven't
But
spoken.
Keith had brought up about the tax base and the original agreement, just to see if that could be worked out. And I've had people contact me. The Jonesboro School is in much better shape than the Boones Creek Middle School was by far, and they do like the idea of trying to keep that building if possible.
Mr.
Mr. Flair, can you tell me what playground you're talking about in your motion?
The field back there behind.
The football field, okay, there's not any equipment on
No,
that,
no,
so I
no,
was
but I mean-
confused with where
But I
the
mean, there's
playground
still
was at.
kids go out there
That's
and play
a-
on
That's,
stuff like that.
that's already John.
Well, it's not
It's
already
not a-
Jonesboro's.
oh.
In the written agreement, the board is to transfer that property or make an agreement with the town of Jonesboro for the continued use of that piece of property, and the board hasn't taken such action at this time.
If I may add,
They are using the facility.
it currently is, as you know, in all your fields,
faith.
and I think if everybody in here understands, like our facilities are well used. That middle school property right now is well used, and it would just fall into whether or not it's a Jonesboro town/county use or school board use. As far as a recreational facility, it would continue to be that.
So we also sat here around this table and we talked about the Boones Creek property and how it would not clear as much as it cleared. So I'm having a hard time leaving this property at this amount when we don't even know how much it could bring for us, because I feel like we owe it to our taxpayers to be able to put that money to pay the school off. We have already made a commitment to sell this property. It was said that we had to sell it in the agreement to a taxpayer or someone who would go ahead and make sure that we were reaping taxes off of that. And I just feel like every time we turn around, this agreement that we've made is just getting tossed around like it's just frivolous, and it shouldn't be. We owe that to the people that we're elected to do what's best for the school system, to pay off the school and the debt that we have.
Okay, any more, Mr. Riddle?
So, in our discussions over the past few meetings, there was question as to what would happen if the town decided to sell the property, or, in a year or two, they might sell that property. Would you guys be willing, or would the town possibly be willing to look at some kind of agreement to say that you would keep it X number of years, or even if you sold it within so many years that you might split the profit with the Board of Education?
I think any proposal is a good proposal to take back to our board, whether or not it's that scenario or it's the county or the school has first rights of refusal, or they're in the mix of the potential if it was to be sold. We're definitely not in the plans of going through this whole motion and securing a building that we know would be a lot of monies to get to where we need it again, and then turn around and sell it. But I think if there was a concern, we definitely can work through some language that reduce that kind of risk or that concern with the school board or whatever entity would need to be involved in that.
Thank you.
Mr. Quaker?
I'd like to make an amendment to that motion that it would.
Well, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No,
It's his motion.
That's what's getting ready to say, it's your motion, if you wanna redo it, if they'll take back the second, we don't have to do amendment.
I'll
Rescind your second?
I would like to add the language in there for if they do buy it, town of Jonesboro buys it, and they don't, they keep it, I guess 10 years, and 10 years is a long time. It's two or three different terms on the school board, and 2 or 3 different terms at the town, so I don't want to make it very, very long, but say they do that in 10 years or whatever, they'd split the profit with the Board of Education if they was to sell it. Put that in the original terms that I motioned in my motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any more discussion? Mr. Falk?
I'm battling right now. I want to make an amendment to the motion, that we keep all of that in there, everything that Chad said, except I want to change the price.
Okay.
I want to change the price to $2.2 million.
I second.
Discussion on the amended motion?
I don't think that's enough. I really don't. I mean, I really, feel like that I feel like we need to ask at least 3 million for it. You've got the county sold the great library property for 1.7. Is that what they sold that piece of property for?
I've heard those rumors, but I've not seen anything.
Well, I haven't
actually
heard
out.
no actual figure, and that's in gray, and that's a half acre, maybe an acre, I guess. And we're sitting up here looking at 11E. I'm sorry, but I feel like at least 3 million. That's
Do you wanna make that as amendment? I'll
Well-
take mine back.
I'll put it in an amendment.
You take your second back?
I'm so confused.
Just leave it. If his amendment for 3 million fails, then it goes back to 2.2, and we'll see if it fails.
Okay,
We'll go
so
back.
it's up to 3 now.
I feel like you can always go down. They might be, I think we should get a realtor involved.
But you're gonna have to pay 10%.
That's all right. I feel like somebody else would know who's sitting here. You have 9 different opinions. Okay, so
You got one offer.
we might have more if we had somebody
Yeah, put it out there.
advertising it.
I
Has
really,
it been advertised?
I'm just saying, this is gonna stay with the community.
I
I mean, that's a win-win. We've got a good relationship with Town Jonesboro. We wouldn't have the Jonesboro School today. That when I come on this board and we were still talking about, 7, 8, 9, whatever we called it. I don't remember even what they called it, different plans or whatever. Couldn't afford a pot to pee in. And now, they're coming to us, gonna leave it as school, leave it as a building. A lot of people graduate from that in high school. And I'm respectful towards the price. I want us to get as much, but they're wanting to buy it for the least. And if you get a private individual, they may pay more, but you ain't gonna have no say-so on what happens to the property. You're gonna have no say-so to use the property. You're gonna have no say-so for the 2 roads. You're gonna have no say-so for the athletic fields back there possibly. I mean, we've got a written agreement, and it's been amended and amended and amended and amended because of all 3 phases, or the 3 government officials coming into it, which 15, 6, and 9 here. I mean, my gosh, I know it's a work in progress, but I think this way it stays as a community. And I like that idea. I just like the fact that we can use it too, so.
Mr. Waller?
I second his motion and I ask for a question. We are responsible of the taxpayers.
okay, go back over it, Mr. Boyd.
Well, I'm just gonna say, we really need to get Scott Bennett's approved for input on this.
Mr. Bennett's input has been, the agreement can be whatever it is, all 3 bodies just have to agree.
Agree, okay. All right, thank you.
So even any action tonight and any agreement between the 2 bodies here represented, the 3rd body, the county commission, would also have to be involved because the original interlocal agreement has to be reconsidered and reframed. And all 3 entities would be involved in that.
If I may say something, Keith.
I think he called the question. Yeah, I'm just trying
I'll
to,
give him time just to get it written up before we vote.
so, just to, again, give Jennifer kudos, this particular, platform does not have a place for a second amendment after the First Amendment.
So just do a voice call.
Yes, do a voice call on this amendment. The amendment is to change, is the price, the counter price to be $3 million as.
Did we have a second on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Who seconded it?
Me.
Mr. Walter did.
And if this fails, we're back to the 2.2.
That's correct.
2.2. And if
That's
it
correct.
fails, then we go back to 1.5.
That's correct.
Okay, Mr. Boyd, if you'll roll call, please.
I'll just go in the order that it shows on my screen. Mr. Huddlestone?
No.
Mr. Masters?
No.
Mr. Riddle?
No.
Mr. Walters?
Yes.
Mr. Irvin?
Yes.
Ms. Buchanan?
Yes.
Mr. Fleener?
No, sir.
And Mr. Hammond?
No.
Have you already gotten rid of me?
I have not.
You said
I have not. And Mr.
Poor old
Hammond,
Miss
your vote again? I'm sorry. No. Okay, Ms. Dellinger, you get the last vote.
Oh, but it's not tied. I'm gonna say no.
Make sure I
He put
notate
you on
that.
top, I just
He
watched
did.
it.
It's gonna-
I put you
Oh,
at the
he
top
can
of
do
that
the
list.
amendment with
Okay, the amendment to the amendment failed. Now we go back to the amendment of 2.2.
The First Amendment is moved to amend the amount of $1.5 million as a counteroffer for the purchase of Old Jonesboro Middle School by the town of Jonesboro to $2.2 million.
Correct.
Move to close debate on that.
You need a voice or?
I
you
can
put that on
actually
there?
facilitate an electronic
So
vote.
this
Okay.
one is 2.2.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the original motion of 1.5 million to 2.2 million.
Just to be on.
Did we decide to put a time frame in there, like if the property was to sell?
This is just an amendment to change the amount of the.
This is everything he said except the amount change.
From 1.5 to 2.2.
Okay.
And it's calculating for us. Looks like some votes are still open.
Mine's thinking.
It's thinking again.
No, it's asking me again.
Okay, try it again. All these screens popping up. Something's happening that should happen.
He's somewhere doing something like that.
Well, he's the man, he's the IT guy. Okay, I believe it did, motion carried. So, Mr. Huddlestone, yes. Mr. Masters, no. Mr. Riddle, no. Mr. Walters, yes. Mr. Irvin, no. Ms. Buchanan, yes. Ms. Dellinger, yes. Mr. Fleener, yes. And Mr. Hammond, yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Rosenhoff, I'm sure Mr. Boyd will get with you. And
Wait,
I guess how's.
so that amends the motion, now we need to vote.
Yes, now we need to vote on the motion as amended to make the former offer to the town of Jonesboro for 2.2 under the conditions that was stated.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have to roll that by me again.
And I'm gonna, it looks like this got convoluted, I'm gonna take another voice vote if you
Except the
don't mind.
amount is
The motion is, let me read the motion for the board, is to amend, not to amend, but it disappeared on me. So I'll have to go and correct it. But it's to counter with the amended amount of 2.2 million, with those terms that Mr. Fleener had mentioned, maintaining the athletic or the recreational field as a public recreational field, future options to utilize the middle school property or this building by the board of the school system.
If they sell it in 10 years.
And then if they sell it, first right.
Along with right of ways that we have now.
Yes, and then that was the fourth item of the road, continue access right away to the road.
Is everybody clear on what we're voting on?
And you said a 10-year limit, not a 5?
10
year. I mean, they may not, they're gonna kick this back there soon, so, but 10 years.
Am I out of order if I ask?
No.
Parliamentary procedure? Just wondering if you could put maybe a time frame to get an answer, or give me.
Yeah, what I'd
30 or
like to do,
45
maybe
days or
bring back
something.
next month board meeting.
Next month board
Would
meeting?
that,
Okay.
is that okay with everybody?
We don't do it by the word.
Well, we have to call a meeting.
Well, that give you enough time, but 30 days.
How about if we come back to our workshop on the 27th? Would that give you enough
27th
time?
of this month?
Of this month,
When is your board of mayor and alderman meeting?
Yeah, so we meet on the second Monday, so of course, we meet this Monday, so I can't guarantee that would be a complete answer.
So can we do this by October? We have 5 years to sell it, so,
just work it back to us.
Yeah, just get back to
I
us.
can communicate, definitely, obviously
Right.
I'll effectively communicate with them.
And you get back to Mr. Boyd and we can add it to the agenda whenever we need to, or we can have a call meeting if need be.
Would it be also possible to get an email or document that
documents the.
Yes, that'd be generated.
We'll try.
Which amendment do you
We
want?
will.
Well,
We have
basically,
to
the final,
record it.
this one right here, the final outcome
transcribe, yes, sir.
with the proposal.
We've
Okay,
been successful to
thank you.
make everybody know what.
So yes, we'll
Okay.
get that to you, and you get back with us,
Okay.
and we'll
Alright.
go from there on date.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, roll call vote for the motion, amount 2.2 million, and the stipulations that Mr. Flinner outlined about the use of the continued public use of the athletic fields, the future use of the building by the board of the school system, with the option to do that, the road right away, and then the other one was the 10-year term of, if it's sold or intended to sell by that within 10 years, the discussions come back to the board for ownership.
Everybody clear? All right, we're gonna roll call.
And I'm not gonna skip you this time, Ms. Dellinger, but I'm gonna try to stay in order that's on the screen. Mr. Huddlestone,
Yes.
Mr. Masters,
Yes.
Mr. Riddle,
Yes.
Mr. Walters,
Yes.
Mr. Irvin,
No.
Ms. Buchanan,
No.
Ms. Dellinger,
Yes.
Mr. Fleener. Yes, sir. And Mr. Hammond.
Yes.
7 yeses, 2 noes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, next is the policy review updates, Mr. Boyd.
Yeah, we don't have any current policy updates available for the board. I do anticipate there's a couple that we need to review and possibly propose some minor edits, and that will be at the September board meeting.
Okay. Only thing I have, just a reminder on some dates, August 27th is our workshop at 5 o'clock, and our September meeting is the 5th of September, of course, at 5:30. Mr. Hammonds.
I just want to take an opportunity to thank Ms. Dillinger for her many years of service to the school system, to the children of our county, and then to everyone, taxpayers and all, the last 8 years. And I got to say this, everyone that sat at this table and sat here before had a part in the Jonesboro School. And I remember Mr. Boyd saying, we now have the newest school in the oldest town in the state of Tennessee. But there was a phrase coined by Ms. Dellinger, is tear down the round. And she started that. And I have to say, like I said, so many partners in this. My dad always said, if you want something done, find the ladies in the room to do it, because the men will be talking about it while the ladies are getting it done. She would not take no for an answer. She was a pit bull. So I really have to say, the Jonesboro School was in part a great deal of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Mr. Irvin, did you
I
have
just
your hand up?
I just wanted to ditto what he said there, and Mary Beth, it's been an honor to
Oh, thank
sit
you.
with you.
I'm gonna be watching.
Your husband,
My husband with
your
their
husband's
popcorn.
I have a feeling he may feel like
he's probably gonna be mad at you when you get home, so.
Mr. Huddlestone.
I want to piggyback especially to add to the other two. When I first decided to run for the board, didn't really know if I wanted to do it or not. And I was able to, at a retired teacher's picnic, get a chance to bend her ear to give me an idea. And even after she told me all about it, I still decided to run. But all of her help and guidance, I've much appreciated, and all the work that she's done for the students in Washington County.
Mr. Riddle.
I just want to say thank you. It's been an honor and a privilege serving with you. I'll miss my teammate over here.
Mr. Fleener.
I'm gonna say the same thing. I remember when first board meeting I come, I think I said, well, Whitney did. I took a picture of Jason smiling beside of it, and he put it on his screensaver. It had it on there at one time for his iPad when we had iPads, but we've had a lot of fun. Appreciate you being on the board. I know we've had disagreements, but I mean, we've always gotten along after it's over with. And, you've been a great asset to the board.
Thank you.
I've never served with Eric. I've known Eric pretty much all my life, but looking forward to serve with Eric as well, but definitely gonna miss you.
He's gonna be a good replacement. Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Walters.
First time I met you, we ran against each other. I was unsuccessful and you were successful. I was successful this time and it has been a delight to work with you.
Thank you.
And you were even a wonderful running mate. So,
Oh, you all are gonna make me cry.
but you are a special lady and we just appreciate so much your service to our communities.
Thank you so much.
Ms. McCann?
I just want to thank you for all the service you've given us. You've taught, you have been, on our board, and you've really been a friend to me, and I'm so glad I have you as a lifelong friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you were saying. We haven't agreed on things. We've had our differences over the years, but I have enjoyed serving with you, and I do appreciate your service. And everything you've ever done has always been heartfelt. And that's something I understand now that I didn't back then, but I will miss serving with you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
But of course, we had a workshop you still need to come to, so.
We may have a call.
And we may have another call meeting.
She may have
But,
a ball game at time.
I just want to tell everybody I appreciate it, and I hope I've been just a little bit given a voice from an educator, because it really helps to hear how an educator feels. Thank you all.
Giving a voice is an understatement.
Sometimes it's been a little forceful, but okay.
All right, thank you again.
Thanks.
Meeting adjourned.
They just want to give you a hand.